Okay, today I'm going to walk you through installing the Lean theorem prover on a Windows machine. Unfortunately, Windows is perhaps the most difficult operating system to install Lean on because we need to set up a little bit of infrastructure first. Here I've got a clean install of Windows 10 and I'm going to walk through trying to follow the instructions. Let's find the Lean theorem prover itself. The first place you'll probably arrive at searching for Lean prover is the official Microsoft webpage. Lean is being developed by Leonardo Tamura at Microsoft Research, and Lean 3 is frozen while Leonardo is working on Lean 4. However, the community has continued to develop Lean 3 as well as building a very significant mathematical library called MathLib. You almost certainly want the community release of Lean 3, and the instructions for installing that can be found on the Lean community website. There's lots of good information on this website, including tutorials and exercises and links to lots more information about Lean. But for now, let's just jump straight into the installation instructions and look for the regular install instructions on Windows. Okay. In order to get started, we're going to need to install some pieces of infrastructure, and the first piece is a usable terminal. So the recommendation here is that you use git bash. We've tested these instructions pretty thoroughly and hope that they will work for you. And I know it might be tempting to use whatever pieces of infrastructure you've already got set up on your Windows machine, but I'd strongly encourage you to try to follow these ones. Okay, let's jump across to Git for Windows and install. Okay, Git for Windows is going to give us lots of options as we go through the install process. I would strongly encourage you to ignore all of the options and just continue clicking next to accept all of the defaults, which are quite sensible. Okay, let's go back to where we were and see what comes up next. We should test that this did something. So the instructions here are to go to the Windows search bar and type git bash. And sure enough, that looks like we have got a terminal. Okay, the first thing we want to do is install a little piece of software called Elan. Elan is essentially responsible for getting the correct versions of Lean and automatically putting the correct version in depending on what it is that you're trying to run. So I'm just going to copy and paste this little command here into the git bash terminal and hit enter. That's going to download Elan and set it up for us. And I'm just going to hit enter to accept the defaults. Okay, we then need to do one more thing, which is to just make sure that the path is set up correctly, and so the terminal can find Elan in future. So I'm just going to, again, copy and paste this little snippet of code into the terminal window and hit enter. And then, as per the instructions, I'm going to close and then reopen git bash. Okay, now for our next step, we're going to need a copy of Python, and we're going to do that from scratch. So the advice is to just go over to the main Python website and download and install Python. And let's see, I'm installing on a 64-bit Windows machine, so I guess this is the link that I want here. Now, something that is very easy to miss here, but is quite important, is that we would like you to click this checkbox here, add Python to the path. Otherwise, things won't work as expected. Okay, that looked good. So let's go back to the Lean installation instructions and see what we're meant to do. Okay, so let's check that Python really worked. So we're going to start git bash again. And I'm just going to type into that which Python to see that we have a copy of Python installed, and it's the expected one. And sure enough, the path that shows up there agrees with the expected output from the mathlib install instructions. Great. Okay, so that means we're getting pretty close now. It suggests that we add a little alias here so that we can type Python 3. Okay, after that, the instructions suggest that we type Python 3 -- version to check that everything is working and looks good, and indeed it does. And we also type pip3 -- version. Pip is the package installer for Python, and we'll need that in a moment. Okay, that all looked good. There's one more piece of the instructions here, a little command that we're meant to copy and paste into the git bash terminal in order to set up Git. This is just a Windows-specific thing about carriage returns and enters. Okay, with that done, we're all ready to install mathlib tools. Mathlib tools is a fantastic little program that takes care of downloading compiled binary versions of all of the mathematics that has been proved already in mathlib. This is very helpful because if you compile it yourself from scratch on your computer, it could take quite a while, and mathlib tools will ensure that you can very easily download compiled versions. So whenever someone proves something new, you immediately have a local version. And that looks like it succeeded. Let's go back to the instructions and see what we have next. Okay, next we need to install an editor that's suitable for using Lean with. Not just any editor will do. You have a choice between VS Code and Emacs, and we strongly recommend that you use VS Code, which is what most of us are using these days. So I'm going to follow this link. And download and install the Windows version of VS Code. And again, I'm just going to click through accepting all of the default options here. Great, okay, a VS Code window has popped up with a welcome screen. But I'm now going to go back to the instructions to see what it is I'm meant to do next. I guess 2 steps back. Okay, so beyond just VS Code, we need the Lean extension, which is going to take care of interpreting our Lean files for us and showing us the output for them. So here I'm going to click on this icon here to open the extensions, and I'm going to type in Lean Prover. And if I click here, it shows me the extension, and I'll click install. Okay, that looks like it succeeded. So again, let's go back to the instructions and see what it is we're meant to be doing. We need to tell Lean which terminal we'd like to use from inside VS Code. So we need to follow these instructions here. So back in VS Code, I'm going to do Control-Shift-P and select default shell. And select git bash. Okay. And then the advice is that we should restart VS Code, and hopefully then everything will be working. So I'll close VS Code there. Open VS Code from the Windows Start menu. I'm going to create a new file, save that. Oops, that's not. Save that as test.lean. and hopefully I should be able to do something here. So let's do the very simplest thing, which is use the eval command to calculate something. I'll type in eval 2 plus 2, and over here on the right it says 4. Okay, all I'm going to do for now is just this bare minimum verification that Lean is actually running and responding to us. Everything else you need to know is the same no matter what operating system you're working in. And so I'm going to stop this video here, but I strongly encourage you to go back to the instructions here and read the instructions for creating and working on Lean projects, and to follow along those instructions before you do anything else. Okay, great. If you had any trouble with this and things went badly wrong or you got confused, please do ask for help. We're very friendly. Particularly the place to come is the Zulip chat room. In particular there's a new members stream, and at any time of day you can find someone who will help you walk through installation and getting started. Okay, have fun.